Alright folks, it's Matthew, we're back. I have 14 minutes left on my tablet to film, and I'm going to do another case in Elite mode. I'm going to do Off With Their Heads, Case 2, in the World Edition. And as I said earlier, all cases in collection mode, save for 2, will be off camera. Ranger Matthew, you'll recall the ancient manuscript DuPont told us went up to auction in France. Correct, Matthew. It's the same manuscript we believe was used to write a thread to Enid Grimshaw in London. The very same. We've heard that the editor-in-chief of the magazine, Pretty Fair, Annette Saumur, placed the highest bid. She's booked the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles for a photo shoot and has the manuscript with her. Word is she won't let it out of her sight. We need Archer here at headquarters, so you'll be going with Carmen Martinez. Martinez is an investigative journalist who won the Pulitzer Prize for bringing down a major terrorist network in Yemen. You've probably heard of her. She's one tough cookie, and she's not known for her patience, but her smarts make up for her brusque personality. Most of the time. You and Martinez are expected at the castle in Versailles, so there will be no need for introductions once you arrive. Please have a glass of Burgundy for me. So you're the famous Ranger Matthew. I'm used to working alone, but let's giddy up and you can show me what you've got. Matthew, this Annette Saumur better not waste our time. I don't care if she is some big-time magazine editor doing some fancy-pants photo shoot. People say she's a real handful, the queen of mean. Well, she better tell us what we need to know about the manuscript she bought so we can move forward with this investigation. Where the heck is she? Maybe we can poke around the Hall of Mirrors and find the dang manuscript ourselves. Oh boy. Where is that crown? There we are. Are you kidding me? We come here to grill our main lead about this manuscript and she got her head chopped off? This is insane. The guillotine must have been part of the photo shoot. We'll have to figure out who got to Annette Saumur. We'll get her back in two pieces to Angela. You didn't find the manuscript anywhere. What did you find? A faded card? You think the killer left a signature or something? I'm sure you'll uncover the information we need. What's this Antiques Roadshow crap? I mean, that wooden box is pretty and all, but I don't see how it's relevant. Fine, dig through it, Matthew. Maybe you'll find the manuscript. Look, I know I may seem blunt, but I just don't like wasting time. You of all people must understand that, Matthew. We better get to the bottom of this murder quickly. We got way bigger fish to fry. My first case of Carmen. People should remember this. 36 hours. Gonna get some stars, so sit tight, folks. Okay, I got myself 6 stars. I think I'll take the... I clicked on the business card, but I think I'll tackle the box first. There we are. It's a camera. What did you find in that box, Matthew? That digital instant camera doesn't fit with that Marie Antoinette stuff at all. Looks like someone was trying to hide it. That's pretty suspicious. Let's get this camera to little Elliot and see what he can make of it. Okay, 12 hours. Now let's get to the business card. Coup de Grace. Coup de Gras. Grace Good. This business card you found at the crime scene says Coup de Gras and Grace Good photograph. She must be the photographer who was working this photo shoot. So the victim had organized a photo shoot, and it looks like Grace Good was the photographer. So was Grace also the victim's executioner? We better go grill this Grace Good about her photo shoot, and fast. About the victim's photo shoot? What do you want? I will not be selling any photos of taken of Miss Samur to tabloids, if you're some of those nasty vultures. Definitely not vultures, Miss Good. We're here with the Bureau, and we're here to investigate the murder of Annette Samur. Oh, the Bureau's on this case? Good. Annette would have wanted the creme de la creme. That's why she asked me to do this shoot, because I am the best. Except I had to go and walk out to the gardens for some fresh air. When I came back, her head was in the basket. Annette launched me. She made my whole career possible. You have no idea what it was like to find her like that. I was in too much shock to know what to do. Only 2 hours before, I was picking her up at the Amélie B boutique in Montmartre, and now she's gone. You said she was at Amélie B? I guess we better get over to that boutique, huh, Matthew? Stick around, Miss Good. We may need to ask you some questions, some follow-up questions. Okay, let's see here. Champagne bottle. Dog. Torn cardboard. Pigeon, pigeon, pigeon. There we are. The photographer, Grace Good, said that she picked up the victim at the boutique before heading to Versailles for the photo shoot. Was there anything at all that could help us? You found a champagne bottle near the Amélie B boutique? How do you know it doesn't just belong to the cafe? Oh, I see. The tag says for Annette. The label says 1945 Milsim. Does that mean it's extra fancy champagne? And there's some kind of serial number? Let's see if you can decipher it, Matthew. This other stuff you found near the boutique looks like torn cardboard. You want to piece it together? If you think it will get us to the killer quicker, why not? But first I need to get some more stars, so sit tight. Alright, I got 8 stars. I'll examine the champagne bottle now. DNA and 89E. You deciphered the whole serial number from that champagne bottle, right? I bet young Mr. Elliot can tell us more about who gave this bottle to the victim. Let's get it to him. Okay, 18 hours.
Huh. So you pieced the cardboard you found near the boutique back together, huh? What have we got? It's a cutout of some lady. Do you recognize her? Because I sure don't. Wait, there's a message. To Annette. One hell of a woman, and it's signed by... Your guess is as good as mine. This signature's totally illegible. I've heard that you are top-notch when it comes to comparing facial features in a database, Matthew. Maybe you can figure out who this is. There we are, 17 again. Jacqueline Proust. So our mystery cardboard cutout is Jacqueline Proust, huh? Am I supposed to know her? Huh. I'm rather impressed that you don't know her, Miss Martinez. You show more taste and intellectual capacity than I imagined. Thanks? So you know who this is, DuPont? To my chagrin, yes. Jacqueline Proust is a pathetic excuse for a fiction author. But unlike the great Marcel Proust, her talent appears to, how should I say it, the mass market. Okay then, looks like we need to track this Jacqueline Proust down and ask her about the autograph she signed for the victim. Got her autograph for the victim? Miss Proust, right? I was wondering if you had a minute. I only do autographs and my literary agent forces me to. Sorry. Did your literary agent force you to autograph a cardboard cutout of yourself for Annette Saumur? No, that was a gift. She was an inspiration to creative women everywhere. Granted, maybe not as much of an inspiration as I am, but still. I wanted to let her know how much I appreciated her work. We women have to have each other's backs, you know. Just the backs or the heads, too. Annette Saumur was decapitated today, Miss Proust. No! That's awful. And she had just bought that manuscript at auction, too. Do you think the manuscript could be part of the murder? I bet it is. Excuse me, I need to grab my writing notebook. Inspiration strikes. Alright, I'll let all these three run their courses, and I'll get the remaining stars by then. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the camera. Matthew, I have some interesting news for you about that digital instant camera you found in Versailles. Well, interesting is a subjective term. If it gets us closer to Annette Saumur's killer, we're all ears, kiddo. Kiddo? Okay, one photo was taken, printed, then deleted from the camera's hard drive around the time of the murder. So the killer clearly touched this camera, maybe to capture a parting trophy. I couldn't lift prints, but the killer did leave evidence of an addiction behind. Loose tobacco leaves. So we know that the killer smokes. Great, we need to find one smoker in France. That should take about 10 years. We better get started, huh, Matthew? Champagne label? Well, Matthew, the champagne bottle you brought me is full of pretty special stuff. If you're into luxury, yawn. It's from Domaine Tafreze. 1945 was dubbed an exceptional year, or millésime, for the vineyard. That's some old champagne. Any idea who gave it to the victim, little man? Little man? Seriously? Well, since this champagne is so exceptional, it isn't sold to just anyone. The serial number shows that the bottle was purchased by Princess Sophia of Girona. She's been in Paris since Fashion Week, which is only too predictable, and she's staying at the Royal Manchot Hotel. Equally predictable. I guess it's time to talk to Her Most Predictable Highness, Princess Sophia of Girona. She can tell us why she offers such a fancy gift to the victim. About the champagne she gave. So, Princess Sophia of Girona. Just plain Sophia, please. No need to be so formal just because I'm wearing my tiara. Okay, Sophia, can you tell us about the bottle of champagne you offered to Annette Samour? We're putting together a timeline of events leading up to her murder. Her murder? Annette Samour was killed? I just saw her this morning. I offered her the champagne as a thank you gift. She had decided to put me on the cover of her magazine, Pretty Fair. Finally, someone had recognized my superior fashion sense and wanted to share it with the world. Annette had so much class. She was royalty too, in her way, and now she's dead. We're sorry, but you better plan to extend your stay in Paris, Sophia. We may need to ask you more questions about Miss Samour. And let's... Bonjour, Matthew. This was an interesting end for the so-called Queen of Mean, and it was a pretty clear-cut autopsy. The guillotine blade that decapitated the victim had been sharpened recently. Fun fact, did you know that a beheading by guillotine takes only 0.02 of a second? No, that's fascinating. So the murder weapon was definitely the guillotine? Absolutely. Her head was severed between the vertebrae C1 and C2, the atlas and the axis that helped nod and rotate the head. When I swabbed the cut, I found something really strange though. There was diacetyl, which is found in butter flavoring isovaleric acid, which smells like old gym socks, and Penicillium camemberti, a bacteria only found in the rinds of camembert cheese. So you think someone used the guillotine to cut, pardon the expression, the cheese? The more logical explanation is that the person who checked the sharpness of the guillotine blade transferred some of the camembert they were eating to it. And then that cheese would end up in the victim's neck. So the killer eats camembert. Looks like we have our work cut out for us, Matthew, so to speak. So far, everybody seems pretty sweet on Annette Samour, yet someone chopped off her head. Did you dig Jacqueline Proust? I understand wanting to strike while the iron is hot, but she treated Mr. Moore's death like a writing prompt. Princess Sophia, just plain Sophia, seemed genuinely upset about the victim. Besides, could she even figure out how to use a guillotine? And Grace Good was really upset, but she was right there on the crime scene and she didn't call the cops. That's just wrong. Sorry, I had to get this. What's up, Ingrid? Matthew, I got news for your timeline reconstruction. We determined where Annette Samour was last night. Great. See you guys for Chapter 2. Alright folks, we're back. Start Chapter 2 of Off With Their Heads. People seem to like Annette Samour, but someone did chop off her head. Sorry, I had to get this. What's up, Ingrid? Matthew, I got news for your timeline reconstruction. We determined where Annette Samour was last night. The Louvre. I'm sure you remember that the victim bought the manuscript that could tell us more about the ancient order behind Prince Albert's murder in London. Yeah, we were looking for that dang manuscript and we found her body at Versailles. Exactly, but the manuscript was incomplete, so she went to the Louvre to demand the missing sections. Maybe this murder has something to do with that manuscript after all. Witnesses say that there was an altercation in the gardens near the museum, but they couldn't understand what it was about. You better go investigate. Well, Matthew, looks like we need to take a trip to the Louvre Gardens. The fight Annette Samour had there might have been an appetizer to her murder. Under happy hour right now.
This is a sign you realize. Really? More than anything. What is that? Sarcasm?
Pinwheel. Oh. Got it. Got the first star. So what treasures were the Louvre Gardens hiding, Matthew? A piece of newspaper? You think this old guy has something to do with this investigation? Let's retrieve the headline then. And looks like someone lost their luggage at the park. The tag says, Marcel Le Mime. A mime? You really think a mime's belongings might help us solve Annette's murder? Well, you'll have to look through it then. I'm not touching it. That piece of paper you found has blood all over it. And there's a message. L'enfer cesse Annette Saumur. Don't know what that means, but it mentions the victim. You're right. The most important thing is to get a sample of that blood, Matthew. Let's step on it. I'm going to get some stars, so sit tight. Okay, got up to 20 stars. Let's examine the luggage. A wig. So did you find anything interesting in that mime's luggage from the Louvre Gardens, Matthew? A wig with sunglasses attached. This wig looks really familiar. Where have we seen them before? You're right, this wig looks just like Annette Saumur's hair. So what was Marcel the Mime doing with a wig that looks like the victim's hair? I guess you better go ask him. About his Annette Saumur wig. Man, I hate mimes. Look, pal, why did you have this wig and sunglasses costume? They'd make you look a lot like Annette Saumur, who was just murdered. Unless you really are a mute, you better knock this crap off right now. We don't have time for this nonsense. Whoa, settle down. Look, I was performing right here by the Louvre, and that lady came up to me and kicked me, unprovoked. Then she laughed. If I saw you impersonating me, I'd probably be tempted to kick you too. I started making fun of her after she kicked me. That's how I deal with bad stuff. I put it in my show, turned it into laughter. Well, if you did anything more to Miss Saumur than use her for her material, you won't be laughing for long. Constantine Perrier. So that old man on that bit of newspaper you found near the Louvre is named Constantine Perrier. Don't know him. I don't know French, but the article mentions Versailles. Maybe he was involved in the victim's photo shoot. I'm with you, Matthew. We better have a chat with this Constantine Perrier. Let's go. About his connection to the victim. Mr. Perrier, I'm sure you're aware that a murder was perpetrated here today. Yes, I learned during the cheese course of my lunch, a lovely camembert, and I was aware of the photo shoot, of course. I authorized the photo shoot because Annette Saumur was a high-profile personality. We can't let just anyone use the castle as they wish. I am not even allowed to smoke inside anymore. Of course, now Versailles will get entirely the wrong sort of publicity, but one cannot control everything, as Louis XVI discovered to his dismay. Louis XVI is an interesting example, Mr. Perrier, considering that Annette Saumur was beheaded. The king also lived in Versailles, so my choice in words hardly makes me a suspect. If you have no further questions, may I? Don't go far, Mr. Perrier. We may need to ask you some follow-up questions. Bloody note. You got a sample of the blood from the note you found at the Louvre Gardens? Alright, let's get it to Mars. 4 hours. See you guys for when that's done. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the blood from Lars. Matthew, I have the results of the blood sample you collected from that note. But first, you ought to check out my band's last rehearsal. No, Lars, we just want the information. We don't have time to listen to your hobby. Oh, come on, man. We're a serious band. You're working with the future inductee at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you don't even know it. Fine, whatever. The blood in question belonged to Annette Saumur. Point for point, this means the killer wrote the note after the murder. Great, but we still need to know what the heck it says. Well, if you will permit an old man to interrupt, I can tell you that your killer knows their Sartre. Sartre who? Jean-Paul Sartre, my dear, the French philosopher who coined the term existentialism. Well, your killer paraphrased his famous line, L'enfer c'est les autres, or hell is other people. In this case, the message said, L'enfer c'est Annette Saumur, or hell is Annette Saumur. The logic checks out. So the killer is a fan of French philosophy, huh? Well, they better get ready for some angst with Matthew on their tail. Matthew, have you seen the latest political polls in France? The far right are getting rather too popular for my taste. The far right? Like extremists? Some of them maybe, I dare say. The politics of intolerance and fear draw all types of unsavory characters. But I doubt the far right in France had anything to do with the beheading of Annette Saumur. Best let you get back to solving that murder. I can't shake the feeling that there's nothing more to the place where the victim was earlier this morning, and we still haven't found that manuscript. Great minds think alike, Matthew. Let's head back over to the Amélie B boutique and see what we can find. Oh, darn it. Excuse me. There we go. Clothes on sale. Oh gosh. Oh boy. Talk about a cheap way to begin a crime scene. So did you pick up any more clues near the boutique? You want to dig through a stand of fancy clothes? Well, make it snappy. I don't want to waste any time. You also found a pretty coffee cup, and the victim's name is on it. Looks like something was written below the logo on it. Get your duster ready. Be right back, folks. Alright, folks, I got myself up to 20 stars. Let's examine the faded coffee cup. Okay. You're nothing without your amazing grace. So, what was written on the cup from the cafe table, Matthew? The message says, Annette, you're nothing without your amazing grace. Amazing Grace? Grace Good thinks she's pretty amazing. Think they might be one and the same? And didn't Miss Good mention picking up the victim here before the photo shoot? Picking her up, getting her coffee? I thought Miss Good was a photographer, not Annette Samour's personal assistant. Let's get a little more precision from Grace Good about what went down between her and Annette this morning. Got her message to the victim. So, Miss Good, we found Annette Samour's coffee cup with your message to her. It's interesting. We thought you were her photographer, not her personal assistant. Of course, I didn't mention it. It's embarrassing. That woman abused her power, treated me like she owned me. I was her private chauffeur, her lackey. She even told me when I could smoke. When I told her I was going to leave Pretty Fair and strike out on my own, she threatened to blacklist me in the publishing world. The stress has been rough. I'm eating way too much camembert. It's going to ruin my figure. But as the French philosopher Albert Camus said, freedom is nothing but a chance to be better, and I wanted my freedom. Well, Miss Good, if you kill to get your chance to be better, you won't have that chance for long. What did you find in the clothing bin from the boutique? Anything good? I guess not, since you just showed me a mess of torn paper. Only joking. Hey, maybe you could do that puzzle trick you did before, Matthew.
Witnesses described the vehicle to police as a dark-colored SUV. This fatality happening just a day after a woman hit by a car in Line Island crossing the street. This is the fourth pedestrian death.
There we go. Get out of here. Is that Princess Sophia on the magazine cover you pieced back together? She really was going to be a cover girl for Pretty Fair. Oh, snap. The cover calls her a royal mess. She must have not been too happy about that. We better go check in with Princess Sophia and see what's what. That's a Pretty Fair cover. Princess Sophia, we found the cover for the next issue of Pretty Fair, and it's not pretty for you. It's awful. Annette never told me that she wanted to do a story about royal fashion failures. She thought I didn't have any style. Why she would know anything about style? Have you seen the silk scarves she's trying to sell to the department stores? I wouldn't wrap my camembert in one of those. When I saw the preview of the cover, I ripped it to shreds. I am so stressed about it, I even started smoking again. What will people think of me after this issue comes out? I'll be a laughingstock. My reputation will be ruined. Princess, if you kill Annette Samour for revenge, your whole life will be ruined.
The Navy is bringing in a plane equipped with infrared radar as the search continues for 3 fishermen who were missing early Monday off Lawson.
Man, Matthew, finding the person who beheaded Annette Samour might be harder than I thought, and we still have to find that dang manuscript. I didn't realize that Princess Sophia could get so riled up, but could she have killed Annette Samour over an article saying she had bad taste? And what about Grace Good? Would she have decapitated the victim to break free and start a career of her own? Marcel the Mime doesn't seem like the strongest suspect, but if he was willing to risk a lawsuit impersonating Annette Samour, who knows what else he might have done. That's my phone again. Carmen Martinez speaking. This is Jacqueline Proust. Please come quickly. I need your help.
The seas are about 6-foot seas, which is tough to see a person floating in the water because of the way it goes up.
See you guys for chapter 3. Alright folks, we're back. We're going to start chapter 3. So, Matthew, what did we learn about... Dang, my phone again. This better have something to do with the murder of Annette Seymour. Carmen Martinez speaking. This is Jacqueline Proust. Come quickly, I need your help. What is it, Miss Proust? Are you in danger? Are you hurt? Not yet, but please come to the Louvre quickly. I'm running out of time. Ah, there you are, Ranger Matthew. Thank goodness you're here. You have some nerve calling us up like that, Miss Proust. You were in no danger at all. I wasn't in danger, but my research certainly was. I'm being repressed, censored. There's a special item that I require for researching my next novel. I can't tell you about it, obviously. Spoilers. If only those Louvre idiots would have just let me borrow that decryption tool, then I just need to get my hands on Annette's manuscript. Oops, did I just say that out loud? Yes, you did. So you're looking for Annette's manuscript too? Wait right here, we're going to have a proper chat with you. What do you say, Matthew? Should we grill Jacqueline Proust about the manuscript right away? Or should we let Miss Proust stew and take another look around the Louvre for more clues? Your call. Let me do one time off camera, so sit tight. But first, oh, actually, you know what? Let's just do it right now. Glasses, coins, torn silk, there we are. So what did you find, Matthew? That torn red fabric looks like silk. Go ahead and piece it back together. And you found a smartphone? Why are people so careless with such important stuff? But you're right, that phone's probably holding important information. Think you can unlock it? We better wrap up this case soon, Matthew. We still have to track down that manuscript, and who knows where that thing could be now.
She was Secretary of State. Bowie worried for reporters about the FBI's extensive forensic examination of Hillary Clinton's private server and emails.
Excuse me?
Saying only facts matter, but he did say the investigation found the security culture at the State Department was generally lacking.
And I am trying to honor, and I will send a card to people who like or comment this. It's my new thing that I'm doing.
In their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
Comey's announcement does remove the threat of criminal charges against Clinton, but not the campaign issue. The FBI announcement comes the same day as Clinton's.
I'm going to take care of everything first before I go on.
The president says there's never been any man or woman more qualified to be president than Clinton. Meanwhile, Republicans
17. So that torn silk was a scarf. Wait a minute, that bob haircut, those sunglasses, that's Annette Seymour. Someone ripped her likeness to shreds. And there's white oily stuff on all over this scarf. Let's grab a sample.
Trump also saying the decision was very, very unfair in a case of, quote, bad judgment. Hawaii's become the last state to ban sex trafficking. Governor David Ige today signing a bill into law making sex trafficking a violent crime in Class A felony.
Okay.
Expands the statewide witness protection program to include sex trafficking and provides victims access to criminal injury compensation.
Wow. 18. Got a sample of that white stuff from the victim's scarf? Let's rush it to Lars. The sooner we know, the sooner we catch the killer.
Earlier this year, Honolulu Police Department had 1,500 untested rape
Okay, 18 hours.
Well, could medical marijuana bring in some big bucks for the state?
Lock smartphone now.
So, the White Dispensary Alliance predicts that dispensaries will generate between $12 and $38 million in revenue in their first year of operations.
GYB and
Those figures are
RN8. 17. Dang, Matthew, you unlocked that smartphone. You found out the Louvre Gardens like you were on fire. Look at the unlock screen. That's the cover of Pretty Fair. This must be Annette Samur's phone. Let's look at recent text messages. There's a message from Constantine Perrier. It means Stella Sofit Samur Sesfini. I don't know what that means, but we have no time to play guessing games. Let's go grill Constantine Perrier about this text message. About his text message to the victim. So, Mr. Perrier, help me out here. My French isn't great. You sent this text message to the victim, Stella Sofit Samur Sesfini. Yes, I was telling her that I had had enough, and that it. The photo shoot was over. And that it, photo shoot was over. I mean, she brought a guillotine into Versailles. Sacre bleu, how could she? As the French philosopher Blaise Pascal said, the only shame is to have none, and Annette Samur had no shame. On top of that, she and that photographer were having these huge arguments. I was worried they'd break something, and in the end, look what happened, a murder. Versailles is a national treasure. I could not have some kind of rock and roll circus happening in the Hall of Mirrors. All I want to understand is just how far you went to stop Miss Samur's shenanigans, Mr. Perrier. You better clear your schedule. We're not done with you yet. And let's ask Jacqueline now about the manuscript. Tell us everything you know about that manuscript, Miss Proust. Did you kill Annette Samur to get it? No, I would never do anything like that. I knew Annette had bought it in an auction, so I asked her over for red wine and camembert to see if she would let me use it for researching my next book. But that petty little woman wouldn't grant me access to the manuscript. Me! I mean, she knew who I was. Everyone knows who I am. Right. I find your change of heart very interesting. When we first talked, you called Annette an inspiration. Well, she did inspire my next novel, and I borrowed the title from a French philosophy book, The Will to Know. But she was keeping me from writing my book by hogging that manuscript, and if I'm not writing, I'm smoking like a chimney. I bet you do know just where that manuscript is, Miss Proust, and it gives you a big motive for killing Annette Samur. We're watching you like a hawk. Research. Even if Jacqueline Proust didn't kill Annette Samur, and that's a big if, we have got to keep an eye on her. And get our hands on that manuscript before she does. Who knows what she might be planning to do with it. Okay, I'll let the white substance run its course. See y'all for that. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the white substance. Hey Matthew, that white substance you collected from that scarf was some pretty slick stuff thanks to the petrolatum in it, but I nailed it down. Cut to the chase, Lars. We don't have time for corny jokes. Got it. In addition to petrolatum, there was also zinc oxide, which gave the substance its white tint. There was also beeswax, lanolin, and talc. If that sample sounds like makeup, that's because it is. It's clown white, and that's not exclusive to clowns. Mimes use it too. Mimes, huh? Like Marcel? Looks like we need to have a chat with Marcel the Mime about how his makeup got on Annette's torn up scarf.
It's a game changer. It's going to change court proceedings and judicial proceedings altogether. And you're going to see a lot more cases fall under the murder ban than we did before in the past.
Prior to today's bill signing, Hawaii was one of 16 states.
See what Marcel Robin has to say. Not this again. Listen, fool. We found some of your makeup on a torn up scarf bearing Annette Samur's image. What's that about? Fine. But you know what the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said? Words are loaded pistols. That's why I prefer not to use them. Miss Samur came back to the gardens last night. She was sobbing and swearing. She kept repeating caveat emptor. Caveat emptor is Latin. It means buyer beware. Did she mention what she had purchased? She said she'd been tricked. She'd paid a lot of money for some old book that wasn't even complete. Part of a page was missing or something. Then she tore up her own scarf in a fit and ran off. I picked up the pieces and used it to clean off my makeup.
You're a good listener, aren't you? Well, get used to using your words, Marcel. We may not be done with you yet.
Well, we notice a very large hurricane, so an expansive storm is eventually, though, going to move into some cooler waters, and that should weaken it. We expect.
Well, Matthew, I am getting pretty antsy here. We're closer to finding Mr. Moore's killer, but not close enough. Matthew, you have to get to the crime scene. The Versailles cleaning crew is about to start clearing everything away. If they touch a thing, they'll have the Bureau to answer to. Matthew, we better get over to the Hall of Mirrors as fast as we can.
Just to the east of Blas, and this is a tropical depression right now, 4E, but it's over warm water, and we're expecting some rapid strengthening over the next 3 to 4 days. You can see eventually becoming a Category 2 hurricane as we head late in the weekend. So another area to watch being left in the eastern Pacific, but some of this moisture at least could move over into the central Pacific, closer towards Hawaii. So we're going to keep an eye on both of those systems. We're also watching potential for rain, and we're not expecting a whole lot. Most locations relatively dry. We got a couple of light trade showers. We're going to talk about those light trade showers. Have more on the tropics and your forecast coming up a little later. We'll toss it back to Paul and Angie.
All right, thanks, Pete. Well, a stinky and unsanitary situation at Kewalo Basin. The State Department of Health advising people to stay away from the
I think I see one clue.
because of a sewage spill. Officials say that spill was due to a blockage in the sewer line. The waste has puddled on the roads within the harbor.
No, that's not a clue.
Businesses in the area are concerned about the situation.
Earlier this morning, it was bubbling up out of the manholes for here, especially over by the road. And we know that it goes into the gutters, which go into the harbor, which eventually ends up where we're all trying to dive.
Hey Matthew, is that a French philosophy book? We know the killer reads French philosophy. This is the killer's book. Looks like there's a coffee stain on it, but what are those little black things stuck in the coffee stain? The new vacuum kit should work to collect those, whatever they are. And is that the victim in that instant photo? Looks like she's in the guillotine from the crime scene. This must have been taken moments before she died. We found an instant camera here earlier, and a photo had been printed and deleted. This has got to be the photo the killer printed out. You're right. The killer wrote, "Say cheese." That's sick, but you're right, there's something more. Part of the photo didn't develop. Let's get your Justin kit out.
Every single heavy rain, you just see trash all through.
We're definitely getting closer to solving this murder, Matthew. I have a hunch, and my hunches are never wrong.
Past the surfers and all of Bowls out into the North Pacific garbage patch, where it breaks down and then washes back up on our beaches, or maybe beaches on the West Coast or in Japan. So it becomes a global problem, but it's right here locally that we can solve it.
I'm going to take care of everything right now.
Harlow says he and his partners are seeking grants and aid from the state and county. Total cost of that project, nearly $1 million. We'll call it if it does work. That would be really amazing because he's right. After every rain, it is a mess. Unbelievable. All right, still ahead on KITV Island News at 5. There's a new plan tonight for Afghanistan. President Obama is leaving more troops in the country.
Got it. Black fuzz. Gotta sample those little black fuzzy things from the killer's book? Let's get them to Lars on the double.
Plus, from the NBA Finals to surprising Island youth, why Steph Curry
30 hours.
We'll be right back.
And the instant photo. Here we are. So you managed to retrieve an image from that instant photo of the victim. That's an interesting shape. I bet Elliot will be able to figure out exactly what it is. Let's go. Okay, I'll have all the stars collected, so for now, this is Matthew. See y'all then. Okay, folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the black fuzz. Those little black fuzzy things that were stuck to the killer's book you found at the crime scene come from a sheep, Matthew. Can you believe that? A sheep, but not just any sheep, the Laxa sheep from the Basque country. White wool from the sheep is dyed black and felted to make black berets. So let's think this through. The killer was reading that French philosophy book. They left their black beret on it, not realizing that felt from the beret would get stuck in the coffee stain? So the killer was a black beret. Nice catch, Matthew. We're closer than ever to catching this killer.
course, I'm still having to deal with this computer that has bad resolution. I need to talk to somebody about this. Except for the shape he wanted me to examine, this photo would make a great 80s heavy metal album cover, but the photo also gave information about the killer. The photo was pressed against an object during a crucial processing point, an object shaped like a fleur-de-lis. The image has been used as an emblem of the French monarchy since 750, or so Dupont insisted on telling me. I ran the object against our database and found a match to a luxury fleur-de-lis brooch from Montpoussin. Wait, so you're saying the killer's wearing a fleur-de-lis brooch? I'll file that in. We're so close to catching Annette Samour's killer now, I can almost taste it. You really live up to your reputation, Matthew. Looks like we have enough to arrest Annette Samour's killer. Let's do it. It's Constantine Perrier. Constantine Perrier, Ranger Matthews arresting you for the murder of Annette Samour. That's absurd. I told you I wasn't there. I only found out about Miss Samour's demise at lunch. A lunch where you ate camembert. How much of that stinky cheese do you eat, Mr. Perrier? And do you ever wash your hands? You left some of it on the blade of the murder weapon. That is nonsense. I wouldn't go near a guillotine. S'il vous plaît. Do I look that foolish to you? Foolish? I don't know, but you sure are sloppy. You also left behind a photo of the victim in the guillotine. The photographer probably took that photo. She hated Miss Samour's guts, you know. Don't try to pin this on an innocent person. The photographer doesn't wear a luxury fleur-de-lis brooch, Mr. Perrier, but you do. Oui, fine. I did kill Annette Samour, but I only did it for the money. It was my turn to live like a king. Do you know what it's like to be surrounded by such wealth day after day and be looking at a pittance for retirement? So when they offered me money to kill Annette Samour and steal the manuscript from her, I didn't hesitate. They offered you money? Who are they? If I told you, they'd kill me. And these people have the manuscript? I don't know. I never gave it to anyone. After the murder, I panicked. I don't remember where I left it. You'd better remember soon. In the meantime, you're under arrest for the murder of Annette Samour. Constantine Perrier, you are on trial for the murder of Annette Samour by guillotine. That's the first time France has used the guillotine since September of 1977, though this was hardly an official execution. I didn't intend to use the guillotine, Your Honor, but there it was, so I took advantage. I needed to kill her. Since you're such a fan of French philosophy, I'll throw some Camus at you. No cause justifies the deaths of innocent people. Constantine Perrier, this court hereby sentences you to 25 years in prison. 25 years? Please have pity on this poor pensioner. Man, Matthew, I'm impressed. Good job catching the killer. Constantine Perrier's greed drove him to kill, but he'll pay a hell of a price. But the situation's getting more complicated by the minute. Someone used Perrier's greed to their advantage to get that manuscript. Part of the manuscript was already used as a threat to make sure Prince Albert was killed. Then they hire someone to kill the person who bought the rest of the manuscript at auction. Who knows what they might do once they have their hands on it? We gotta find out. We gotta find it before they do. Take a look at the other ones. Grace Good, no fleur-de-lis brooch. Princess Sophia of Girona, no French philosophy, no beret. Jacqueline Proust, no beret. Marcel Robin, cleared from the start. It was Constantine Perrier. I'll see you guys for Europe in Crisis 2. Alright folks, we're back. Let's go to Europe in Crisis 2. Matthew, we need to find the manuscript Constantine Perrier stole from Annette. We know that whoever threatened Enid Grimshaw into killing Prince Albert used a torn page from this manuscript. They also paid Constantine to kill Annette so they could get their hands on the full book. We need to figure out who they are and put a stop to whatever they're planning, or more people could die. I agree, we should interrogate Constantine again. Maybe spending a few hours in jail will have made him talkative. Matthew, a second of your time. We've received a call that someone has been lurking around the Hall of Mirrors. What if they were also looking for the manuscript? We better go back to Versailles, Matthew. I'll drive. Mr. Perrier, now that you've had a chance to get your wits about you, are you ready to talk? Where's that manuscript you stole from Annette's cold body? I told you, I don't remember. What's the brouhaha anyway? It's just an old book. It looked like a silly stage prop. You seriously think you would be asked to kill someone over a silly stage prop? Think! What did you do after the murder? It's a blur. Wait, there were flowers. Yes, I remember hiding the manuscript somewhere near the Louvre, in the gardens, but I can't remember the exact spot. Ranger Matthew's right. We need to stop wasting time with this killer and get to the Louvre Gardens. Aha! I'm with you, Matthew. Perrier's faking his panic. We know he's a calculating killer. He would have hidden that manuscript where no one would want to look. That wheelbarrow is full of nasty dead leaves. I'm learning to trust your instincts. If you think the manuscript is in there, dig in. Great, 18. You found it! That book you found in the wheelbarrow looks like the manuscript everyone's been looking for. The symbol on the front matches the symbol on the torn page you found in London. I saw it in the evidence room. I hope you can crack the lock, Matthew. We'll finally see the inside of this mysterious manuscript. No doubt I will. EB9, G7Q, 16 again, like so many times before. I'm amazed, Matthew. You got the manuscript unlocked and you didn't even damage it. But I can't read what's written in this thing. Let's send it to DuPont. I can't wait to know what's so important about this manuscript people keep killing for. $18 hours. Yep, I got up to first place, as you can see on this crime scene. Thankfully. Thanks to a lucky find from my pet mountain goat. There we are. I apologize about this, folks, but I will try and get this fixed as soon as possible. So, was there anything out of the ordinary in the Hall of Mirrors, Matthew? A cigarette case? What's that orange goo on it? You better get a sample. Nice. Great, you got a sample of that orange goo from the cigarette case you found in the Hall of Mirrors. Lars will want to look at that. And I will get the results tomorrow. And for now, this is Matthew. I'll see you guys again when we do 12 hours. I'll see you all again. Alright folks, we're back. This is the results of the clear substance. Hey Matthew, here's what I found out about the substance on the gun. Dude, you're not even going to offer us a knock-knock joke first? It hardly feels appropriate. Everyone's so on edge knowing there's a mole on the team. The only one holding up okay is DuPont. Not that I'm implying it's suspicious, but it's hard on everyone, bro. I still can't believe any of our friends would betray us. At least I know I can trust you and Matthew. And as you still have a case to solve, Matthew, I can tell you that the substance on the gun was sweat from a Willem Nieuwoud. Elliot looked him up, and it turns out Willem is Prince Abiyoli's bodyguard. Phew! So the gun didn't belong to a Sombra agent. And you're right, Matthew. Willem might still be in Soweto. Let's go ask him about Prince Abiyoli, quick. Good dog, Ranger. How can I help you? Mr. Nieuwoud, Ranger Matthew and I work for the Bureau. We're looking for Prince Abiyoli. We believe he narrowly escaped an attempt on his life, and while his would-be assassin is no longer a threat, we desperately need to talk to him. Where is he? An attempt on his life? Then the situation is even worse than I thought. I turned my back for a few moments to buy a milk tart, and the prince ran off. I don't know where he is. What? Why would he run away from his own bodyguard? Beats me, and what's worse is that I lost the device I was using to track him. But if I know the prince, I bet he's gone to the yacht club. I've got to head there to look for him. Matthew, what kind of bodyguard loses the person they're supposed to protect? I don't trust this Willem. If the prince is at the yacht club, we better go look for him. Dude, what did you find out about the rope Matthew found in Soweto? Under close inspection, I discovered minute traces of milk turd on the rope. That gave me a hunch, so I took a look at the rope used to tie up your victim. And this rope you found and the one used to tie up Kayla are the same. What's particular about this type of rope is that it's used on sailing yachts, most commonly as an anchor line. So our killer goes yachting. High five. Wait, why do you seem so bummed out, bro? I'm sure it's nothing. Come on, dude, we're among friends. What's bothering you? I just don't know how Angela could have failed to notice that the victim was bound with yacht rope. She's normally so thorough. Everyone's been distracted lately, bro. We're all worried about there being a mole in the team, but Angela would never do anything to hinder us. You're right, Angela just probably needs a break. I'm glad that's cleared up, and now we know our killer goes yachting. That's another black mark against Jacob, Matthew. But he doesn't fit the other two criteria, unfortunately. Sorry to burst your bubble, Archer. To watch Turtle. Ugh. Boy, that is such an old-fashioned phone. Tenth. So much for Prince Abioi being here. He's nowhere to be seen. But you picked up a digital watch, Matthew? I wonder if this is the tracking device Willem mentioned. Let's unlock it and find out. And check out this piece of paper. Not only is it addressed to our victim, it also has a key on it. You'd better recover the writing. I'm going to take care of everything right now. Oh no. C4T. FL8. G06. Well, one mishap cost me 9 energy, but that's okay. Excuse me. Well done decoding that watch, Matthew. It definitely looks like the tracking device the Prince's bodyguard told us about. Let's see what Elliot makes of it. Uh-oh. Sorry folks, it white screened on me. Appears to be from Quanelle. Here's your key, I never want to see you again. So the note addressed to our victim says, here's your key, I never want to see you again. And it was signed by Quanelle, the victim's childhood sweetheart. He said things were difficult with Kayla, but he never said they were over. We need another chat with Quanelle. About his breakup? Quanelle, Ranger Matthew found this note you left Kayla. You failed to tell us you'd broken up. Of course she left that lying around. Well, it's like I told you, Kayla's career started taking its toll on our relationship. I resented her wanting to change me to suit her new lifestyle. She was constantly berating me for preferring milk turk to caviar, and she even insisted I learn Afrikaans so I could make conversation with her new friends. And she wasn't even around half the time. Just a week ago, she ditched me to go to some island with no explanation. You can't build a relationship on that, Ranger Matthew. So when she returned 2 days ago, I told her I just didn't feel the same about her since she changed. She might have been happy to forget her roots, but I wasn't. Well, let's hope you didn't forget all sense of reason and kill Kayla, because if you did, Ranger Matthew will find out. So Kayla left for some island a week ago and only returned 2 days ago. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Matthew? Kayla must have been on that Sombra island. We may not know how many assassins came to Africa, Matthew, but at least now there's one less loaded gun roaming around. Another coins. I want to get as much cards as I can so I can stay above the threshold. As you can see, I'm at 39,608. I did have a couple thousand more energy than that, but I have used it on some elite mode cases, and I am trying to buy some burgers for the daily deals if they offer it, or even the complete meals. But anyway, I'll see you guys when the GPS watch has run its course.
Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the orange substance right now. Got the answer you need, Matthew. Rockstar that I am. Spit it out, Lars. That sample of orange goo you found on the cigarette case was hypo-clearing agent. Photographers use the agent in darkrooms to cut down the watch time for film. Photographers, huh? Want to hazard a guess if the cigarette case belongs to Grace Good, Matthew? Let's go talk to her.
What is Grace doing on the crime scene? Miss Good, we found your cigarette case and we're curious about what you're still doing lurking around the crime scene. Please, I wasn't lurking around. I was preparing for another photo shoot. Someone offered me $100,000 to photograph them. This could launch my career now that Annette's gone. Somebody hired you? Who was it? Did they contact you directly? They slipped me a note when I was buying Annette's coffee. I didn't see the who because she was barking at me to hurry up. There was no name. I must have left the note somewhere near the boutique. Matthew, you think we should look into this? Sorry, but $100,000 is a bit too generous not to be hiding something. Let's go have a look around the boutique, see if we can find this note. Wait, before you go, Ranger Matthew, take a little something chic to wear. You cannot go through Paris dressed as you are, no offense. Plane, balloon, and wreath. That note you found corresponds to the message Grace says she received. Miss Good, I need you for my next photo shoot. I will pay you $100,000. And you're right, it was signed. It's just that the signature was washed away. Better get your Dustin kit out to see who sent it to her.
Choice. We can choose how to pray, to live, to eat, and whether or not to immunize our children. Ladies and gentlemen, the obligation right now is to choose. Don't take it away.
Princess Sophia of Girona? So what does the whole note say? Miss Good, I need you for my next photo shoot. I will pay you $100,000. Yours sincerely, and it's signed by Sophia of Girona. I'm curious, why would Princess Sophia be ready to pay so much for a photo shoot? Let's go ask her, Matthew.
And the last serious outbreak here in the early 90s led to 122 deaths in unvaccinated children. Why would people choose not to vaccinate their children on something so dangerous?
About a request for photo shoot? You want to know why I was ready to pay a fortune for a photo shoot? I'm launching my political career. I'm going to run as head of the right-wing faction in Spain. Politics? I would have expected something different from royalty. Typical left-wing assumption. You people think that royalty does nothing but live off taxpayer money, but that's not me. It's time someone pulled Europe out of its crisis, and with me leading the right-wing faction, all Europe's problems will be solved. So you decided to hire Grace Good for an official photo shoot in the Versailles Palace? Yes, well, I've had a closer look at her work and I've changed my mind. It's far too avant-garde for my campaign. You can take the money I was going to pay her, Ranger Matthew. Give it to your Widows and Orphans Fund or whatever. My dear Matthew, you have indeed found the manuscript from which that page was torn, and what a beauty it is. However, I was surprised to find modern markings within the manuscript, even though the Prometheans cult ended centuries ago. Wait, the Prometheans? Is that what the P on the cover corresponds to? Yes, they're an ancient cult that was believed to engage in human sacrifice. Human sacrifice? Do you think the Prometheans could have orchestrated the murders of Prince Albert and Annette Seymour? What about those modern markings you mentioned? Can you decipher them, DuPont? Ah, Malheureusement. I do not have the tool required to uncover their meaning. Hey, Matthew's right. We need to talk to Jacqueline Proust. She mentioned a decryption tool earlier. She knew the manuscript was coded. Moment, folks. Let's ask Jacqueline. Miss Proust, you said you would need a decryption tool from the Louvre to decipher the manuscript, didn't you? We can help, but you'll need to share your findings with us. Wait, does that mean you have found the manuscript? Let me see it. And we don't need the Louvre. I memorized their decryption tool and made one myself from cardboard. Now let me have the book. Thanks. These are the markings. Look, there's a date. Let's see. That's tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Is something going to happen? I can't tell. Some of the words are missing, but there's a place mentioned, Germany. Think you could narrow it down to a city? Germany's not exactly Liechtenstein. I can't be any more specific, but if you leave the manuscript with me, I can keep working on it. This manuscript is a piece of evidence from the murder investigations of 2 people so far. We're not leaving it with you. Then let me make a copy of it. I promise I will share my findings with you, Ranger Matthew. You're sure we can trust her, Matthew? I wouldn't if I were you, but you're the boss. I guess we'll be out to Germany next, but before we go anywhere, I need some food. All this decryption drama made me hungry. I can't believe Sophia of Girona wants to get into right-wing politics to save Europe, Matthew. Can royalty even run for office? Yes, but this is of no immediate concern to us. Matthew, congratulations on finding the Prometheans manuscript. It looks like this ancient cult is still going strong today. If the recent murders are any indication... Yeah, and according to Jacqueline Proust, something's about to happen in Germany next. This makes sense. Oktoberfest starts tomorrow. Our informants have told us that festivities in the town of Bierberg could be a target. Think about it. Oktoberfest is an institution and large crowds gather every year to celebrate. It will be a prime target for the Prometheans, a way for them to show the world that they can strike anywhere at any time. Pack your lederhosen and beer steins, Matthew, and get ready to stop a catastrophe in the making. Hold on. Okay. And extra energy. 39,804. So let's see the sticker packs I have. I have 8. Oh, good, 5 new ones. Recyclees.
18, 14 in horseback mounted. Okay. Ronan Ozawa. Am I planning to do another case in elite mode? Yes, I will. But which one? I have not determined that yet. Well, that is it. And I'll see you guys again.